A function in program refers to a block of code that performs a specific task. It's like a mini program within a larger program. Functions are used to group code, making it easier to manage, reuse, and understand. Functions are important because they help break down complex problems into smaller, more manageable tasks. By organizing code into functions, it becomes easier to write, test, and debug code. Functions also promote code reusability, allowing developers to use the same block of code in multiple places within a program. For example, if we are creating a shop list, we can have a function that returns all the items. Anytime we need those items, we can simply call the function. So let's start by creating a simple hello world function. So a simple function that will print hello world. So to create a function, we call the def and then the name of your function. So maybe say hello, something like this. Then you try to bring parentheses. After that, you can have your colon. Then you can come down and now we are inside the function. So inside the function, we can print hello world. So hello world, just like this. And then if I run my code, nothing will really happen because we did not invoke the function. So how do we invoke the function? So to invoke the function, you simply come out of the function. So this, we are inside the function because this cursor here is in the same line as your print. So we are trying to what? So we have to exit from the function. So I'll bring my cursor here and then I'll write the name of the function. So say hello, just like this. And then I'll invoke the function with parentheses. So now if I run my code, we'll have a hello world printed over here. So how about returning an object? So now we don't want to print hello world. We want to return a simple object. So what do I mean? So maybe you are creating a website or an application where the user can log in. In this case, you can have a function that will simply return all the user's details. So what do I mean? So let's create a function that will return an object containing our user's details. So I can have a function, so def, and then I can call it maybe get user, and then I'll have the parentheses, then column, and here we can have a dictionary. So I can have a user dictionary, and inside this dictionary, we can have our username, and then maybe John Dio. We can have country. Can I spell country? Maybe USA. We can have gender. So gender, male. So this is our user. So we can simple return it. So return, then we return the users. So in this case, now if I try to call the function, so the function is get user, right? So get user, just like so. So now if I try to run it, and then I run my code, we'll have nothing over here. So I can close this and then I can have a variable, or we can simply print this. So now hopefully if I try to print and then I print this get user, we'll have our user object over here. So this how to simply return something or to return an object in your function. So we can also access the username. So I can have another variable over here. So I can call it user again. Then we'll have our get user and then we'll invoke it. So now this get user over here will simply hold the value of this user's dictionary. So now I can print, so I can print my user below. So hopefully if I run my code, we'll have the same user object over here. So I can also access the username. So I can access the username. So maybe user name. So now if I run my code, we'll have John Deal return over here. So this is how to simply have a function that will return an object. So it can also return a string or a list. So you can simply substitute this with a single string or a list. So now let's go to functions with an argument. So function with one argument. So what does that mean? So let me try to comment this. So functions with arguments. So let me create my function. So I can have a function. So maybe def. Let me call it greetings. So greetings. And then I'll come down, and inside this function, we'll have an argument. So we can have an argument, maybe username, just like this. And then if I try to maybe print, so let me print username. So print username like this. So now if I call my function greetings or greeting, so I can pass this username. So you can see this username over here. And then the type is any. So you can pass any form or any data type over here. So I can pass maybe John Doe. So now if I run my code, we'll have John Doe over here. So I can also maybe have a sentence here. So I can say hello. Then I'll try to concatenate my username. So just like this. So now if I run my code, we'll have hello John Doe. And if I change this John Doe to maybe Mary, and then I run my code, if I run my code, we'll have hello Mary. So this is how to simple pass an argument in a function. So this is the argument we are passing Mary, and then we are simple getting this Mary over here, and then we are printing it inside our function. So that's how to pass an argument, one argument. So how about passing two or more arguments? So what do I mean? So let's comment this out, and then I'll come over here, and then we'll have a function to maybe calculate. So can I spell calculate? Calculate. So that's the name of our function. And here we are passing two arguments. We are passing x, we are passing y. So now if I come, I can simply print x plus y. So now I'm passing two arguments, x and then y over here. And then I'm simple printing x plus y. So hopefully, if I call my function calculate, and then I pass my x value, maybe 20, and then my y value 30. So now hopefully if I run my code, we'll have 50 over here. So we can also change this to maybe product, and then I can run my code, and we have 600 over here. So this is how to simple pass two arguments. So you can also pass maybe three arguments, so maybe 40 and then 50 going on. So we can access them. So Z, and then we can have Q. So now hopefully I can have maybe the addition of all the numbers. So Z, can I put my Z, and then we can have Q over here. So I can write something like summation, or sum. Let's just make it sum. And then we'll have, let me remove this. So sum will have X, Y, Z, and then Q. And we are trying to sum them. So now if I run my code, we'll have the summation of all the numbers over here. So this is how to pass multiple arguments in your function. So let me comment this out. So now next is the lambda function. So what's the lambda function? The lambda function, simple and anonymous function, a shortcut to create a function. So what do I mean? So to create a lambda function, you simply write lambda, then you give your arguments or your argument, your expression over here. So to create a lambda function, you first of all have a variable, so maybe greeting or greetings, then you set it equals to, then you write lambda just like this. Then you have your argument. So I can have an argument username, and then you put a column, then you have your expression. So I can write something like welcome, then I can then concatenate the username. So this is how to simply create a lambda function. And this lambda function is simple returning welcome, then the username. And then I can simple have greetings. So greetings, then we'll pass the username. So I can have my username. So sorry for this. Let me close it. Uh, so can pass John Deal. So now we can store these greetings in our variable, or we can simple print this. So let me print it. Let me print. So let me print this. So now, hopefully, if I run, we'll have welcome John Deal. Or we can have a variable that will save the value or that will save the expression. So we can have maybe greet. So greet. Sorry, greet. Then I'll set it equals to. Then I'll invoke our function. And then I'll pass the argument. And this will simple return welcome. Then the username. Then it will store it on this greet variable. So if I have my greet variable and then I run my code, so hopefully we'll have the same output. Welcome John Deal. So let me clear everything. So how about passing two or more arguments? So let me comment this out and let's come down. So now I want to pass two or more arguments. So how do we achieve this? So I can have my maybe calculate. So calculate, then I'll set it equals to a lambda function. We can have x, we can have y, then we can have z, just like this, and we'll have our column, and here we'll have our expression. So I can write maybe sum, then I can have x plus y plus z, just like this. So x plus y or plus d. So we have x is not defined and we have them over here. So, okay, let's remove this. The problem is from the comma. I think so. Okay. So let's have this. So now hopefully we don't have any problem with our function. So now we can call our function and we can store the result in a variable called result. Then I can have my calculate and I'll pass my arguments or parameters. So 20, 30, then I can pass 10. So hopefully if I try to print the result, so print result, and then I run my code, so hopefully, okay, we are getting problem. Can only concatenate strange. So sorry, the problem is coming from here because we are trying to concatenate this strange to these numbers over here. So that's where we are getting our problem from. So hopefully, let me see if I can grab all the numbers over here and then I'll try to convert them into a string. So string str, then I'll pass them just like this. So now let's run the code and cross our fingers. So now we have 60 over here, and 20 plus 30 plus 10 is equals to 60. So what I'm doing is I'm adding all of them. So I'm adding all the arguments and I've just converted the outcome into a string and then I'm trying to concatenate it to this sum. So that's why we have this code over here. So sum 60. So this is how to simply use the lambda function and pass two or more arguments in the lambda function.